Thank you, David. Messiah David. Hadi Denise Sakaze Skyze Saisozi Maureen Luggi. Gadimdan Dista. I'm just trying to remember my lines here because my daughter is actually the one that's teaching me my language. And I am of Giksan, Wet'suwet'en, and Stellarton descent. And I'm from Wet'suwet'en First Nation. My late mom is late Sophie Ogan. She's Nakwa'un, and she left us coming 3 years now. My late father is from Stellarton. His name is Mitch Ogan. And I'm very grateful to be here. And I just want to welcome everybody here to Wet'suwet'en territory. And we're happy to have you in our territory. And I have something typed up here, which I probably should put my glasses on and refer to. First of all, I wanted to say congratulations to Emma Palmatier for your decades of service. And I've also been a witness. I've sat around many board tables with Emma, and she was the former chief, former manager of her nation, sat around many boards and committees with her, and saw her commitment and her desire to make things better for our Indigenous people. And she's still here, and all the changes that were pursued back then are now being implemented, and there's still a lot more work to be done yet. And so, Emma, I appreciate your leadership, and I really appreciate especially for the supported housing that's here in Burns Lake, and that one of our council members has an opportunity to sit on that committee and make recommendations so that low-income people, homeless people can be housed. So your work is commendable and very admirable. So thank you, Emma Masai. And so I also want to appreciate CSFS for asking me to come up and make welcoming remarks. Thank you for coming to Wet'suwet'en territory and bringing your reports, showcasing your work to us. Your work is important, and your presence in our communities is very critical. It's very important that the presence of Carrier County Family Services employees be in our communities. We are the ones that you are working for. We are the ones that you are serving. So when you come and be with us, we appreciate it and we love it, and we need to see more and more of you. So having this AGM in Wet'suwet'en territory, we just welcome all of you. And we look forward to the next year, going to Stellarton, going up to Saikas, going to Notlay-Wet'en, and coming to our community out at Wet'suwet'en, going to Nitaiban, going to Skintai, and showing up for the people, because you will see firsthand how we live, how our people live. We represent many people who are impoverished, many people who are in trauma, many people who are succeeding in their education. You'll be able to see the state of our communities firsthand. So I think it's important. And also, we had a health fair last week, and a lot of CSFS people were there supporting us in our activities for physical health, mental health, diabetes, and spiritual health, emotional health, and helping our communities to heal. So your work is very important to us. And many of you are making a difference for us. I just wanted to say that to you. Sometimes maybe you don't hear it enough, but I think that your work is making a difference. And we need to encourage you to continue to strive for a higher standard, to strive for even better work environments, so that when you have a good work environment, then you're able to produce for our people. We have elders and youth. We have families that are overcoming intergenerational trauma. Right now, many of us are witnessing a lot of the trauma rising to the surface, and so many addictions, homelessness, drug addictions, people going missing. And unfortunately, yesterday, one of our members was murdered in Prince George, and one of our families is in deep, deep grief today. And so our leaders were meeting yesterday to discuss how we're going to support the family, and this is becoming a trend about how we're going to be there for our families when they're hurting. And so I really appreciate that Marilyn Jansen is available immediately when Ruby calls her and lets her know that, you know what, we have a family in Prince George, we need your team to move in. And so this is how the relationship that we're building with this organization and your staff. So Warner, I really appreciate your leadership and the board of directors and all of your senior staff and your management, because what you do for us means a lot. And more recently, I don't know if Skin Tai is here, but I just wanted to acknowledge that a little 6-year-old girl who turned 7 on Monday was returned back to Skin Tai Nation. That is a really important little Oakland Schweder, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but we see missing people all over the country. It's posted all over social media every single day. This little girl, I think, was the largest search effort that took place in all of British Columbia and all of our history for a little 6-year-old girl. At this time, it didn't matter to anybody whether she was Indigenous or non-Indigenous. She was a 6-year-old girl, autistic, nonverbal, and everybody came out for her, including Carrier-Sekani Family Services, Lake Babine Nation, Cheslata, Wet'suwet'en, Skin Tai, Nitaiban. Everybody came together, and from other nations, people came from Wet'suwet'en, and I just wanted to acknowledge that and just mark this moment for us, because it was a miracle that unfolded in front of all of our eyes. Many people cried because she came home and because she was found. And so I'm very grateful that that little girl is restored back to her family. And so I was supposed to be here this morning, but I have to express that Wet'suwet'en First Nation is going through some very difficult times right now. My role is very busy, and thank you. Sorry to get emotional, but we're a small nation working to keep things afloat. Taking the lead in governance, administration, and finances of our community is an enormous task for many of us. And I always, tell people it's easy to be the mayor. If I was ever elected the mayor of any village or city, it would be a cakewalk compared to the work that we have to do. We are given enormous responsibility, and in some cases, many of us are extremely short-staffed. So that's why I appreciate it when CSFS comes out and supports us. And whether it's in health, the health of our nation is also a very high priority for us. And but to be overwhelmed with so much responsibility, I think sometimes it takes a toll on one person. And so I think that's why I just couldn't make it this morning. I thought, there's people that need their checks, there's people that need, and the needs of my people have to come first before I come to events like this. And I even have to really, analyze whether I need to be at the BC AFN next week, if I need to be in Calgary for the AFN Child and Family in 2 weeks. That's how short-staffed we are. And so we do need a general manager. We are advertising, and we are interviewing for that position right now, a finance officer. There's some frontline work positions that are available, and I'm grateful for people that are helping us to recruit and encourage qualified people to come and work for us. I don't think we're the only nation that's going through this. I see a big long list at Tlasden, I see it at Sycas, and different nations that have a lot of vacant positions, and this is what's been going on since the pandemic. And so I think that maybe the effort for Carrier-Sekani Tribal Council and Family Services is that you need to help us to build that capacity within our nations. And right now, we're working to get people just past grade 12. It doesn't matter the work that's being done. We still have local education agreements that need to be signed. Our kids are still being pumped through a school district system, and they're illiterate even when they get their grade 12 leaving certificates. And this is how our people are being treated. And the non-Indigenous person that lives off reserve pays the school tax, maybe about $700. I don't know the amount. I've never paid it in my life. And but our Indigenous students pay $5,000 a year for our kids to go to a school and for us to pay for staffing positions that are intended to serve our Indigenous students. And yet, sometimes that system is not helping our kids to have at least the reading, writing, math skills when they leave grade 12. And so that's why I say there's still a lot of work to be done. And we're so stretched thin, so many opportunities, so many endeavors that we want to pursue, and we want to do well as we pursue them. And so building capacity in our nations is a critical step that I think CSFS, I would like to encourage the board and Warner to consider that. But at the same time, I want you to know that you do play a very powerful role in the healing of our people and mobilizing us, moving forward with your efforts and creating the change that is so necessary for all of us. And sometimes when we drive down the street in the downtown east side or in Prince George, in the cities of Prince George, or right here in Burns Lake, we see our own youth on the street that are in addictions. You go into the communities and you see kids not going to school because they stay up all night gaming. And so these are all a manifestation of trauma that's rising to the surface because so much trauma is not being addressed, it's not being resolved. And so that's what we're doing, is we're creating opportunities for ourselves. And even with FNHA treatment centers, we're not waiting for them anymore. We're not gonna allow our people to wait. You go anywhere in the province and our people have to wait on a waiting list to get into these treatment centers. So I really appreciate the steps that you guys are taking to open our own treatment center. And we're just starting to pay for private clinics for our people so that they can get help that they need. We had one young man who was cocaine addicted, and you know, someone was telling me yesterday that cocaine is just not regular cocaine anymore. Not that I've ever done it, but it's laced with fentanyl, and it's just destroying our people. And so, you know, you see a lot of the overdoses. It's become an epidemic and a crisis in our own province. And so those are issues that many of our communities are having to deal with. And so I thank all of you for the work that you have done, and I thank CSFS for the last 36 years of growth and development in the area of health and child and family. And the work Mary TG is doing, I think, is very powerful. You have influence across the country. You have influence across the province. And a lot of us here are just being a witness and watching and observing the changes that are being created because of the very powerful voice that you have, Mary. And don't ever think that Wet'suwet'en doesn't recognize that, because we definitely do. And so anyway, with the elections that are coming up in the province, and eventually the federal government will be in elections, and I think it would be good for all of us to make sure that our families get out and vote and make a difference. We have former Chief Murphy Patrick running in our riding. Murphy Abraham, I get those two mixed up, and I also call people with some women with their maiden names still, so Murphy Abraham, and I'm proud of him for taking that step forward. Elections are never easy. You need money, you need people to be behind you, and he was in a debate this week, and I couldn't even make it, but I heard that even John Rustad didn't even attend. And so I put my support behind him and acknowledge him as one of our own Indigenous brothers. And I hope that our people can make a difference in this next election, because you see the things that are being stated by John Rustad, who could potentially be the next Premier of British Columbia. And my concerns about his not speaking well about the Indigenous agenda. sometimes politicians will utilize the Indigenous agenda so that they can wake up people and get the vote based on that agenda, and it would be an anti-Indigenous agenda. And so once they get elected, that's when I think they're going to have to face a lot of us across many board tables. And we're going to expect progress from any new government that comes in, whether it's NDP or the former Liberals, which is John Rustad's new Conservative Party. And so I think that's just as important as, you know, it contributes to the health and wellness of our people. But anyway, enough politics, and just thank you all for taking the time to allow me to speak here. And I just hope you all have fun in Burns Lake and that the gala will go well. I've heard that Gladys Michelle has been doing a lot of preparation for tonight, and I'm excited to see that. And I'm probably going to leave to go back to the office and get some more work done. So, but I really wish you well today and tomorrow, Masai.